Why did the chicken cross the road? That's an easy one, to get to the other side. But today, we're going to discuss a little more complicated chicken riddle. What came first? The chicken or the egg? Today, I am going to prove to you that the chicken clearly came first, not the egg. I have been exposed to this question many times growing up, and each time I answered it a little differently, depending how I was feeling that day or what came to mind first. But in doing research and in talking to experts who know a lot about chickens and eggs, I am able to confidently say that the chicken did come first. I'm sure many of you have been asked this question once or twice before, and how many of you can say that you have a confident answer to this question? I'm sure not many. So stay tuned and I will inform you of why the chicken came first. So today, I am going to start off by clarifying exactly what a chicken egg is, and then move on to the religious and scientific evidence behind why the chicken came first. I'm going to start off by informing you on what exactly a chicken egg is. Is a chicken egg an egg laid by a chicken, or an egg that contains a chicken? Now you may be thinking that this is the same thing, and that's true sometimes, but it can also be false. Let me explain this to you using an example. If a chicken lays an egg that contains a peacock, is it considered a chicken egg because the chicken laid it, or a peacock egg because it contains a peacock? The correct answer is, it's a chicken egg. My dad, Ron Wolf, raises chickens, and he informed me of the nature of chicken eggs. He said, just because a chicken lays an egg doesn't mean it contains a chicken. If you don't have a rooster to fertilize the egg, you'll never have a chicken. It'll just be an embryo inside of a shell. Colin Melbourne further explains this in his article, Chicken or Egg. He says, a humanist may say that an egg contains a chicken, but it doesn't. It contains a single cell, the ovum on a yolk sac, and a couple ounces of albumin. So according to both Ron and Colin, a chicken egg doesn't always contain a chicken. If you don't have a rooster, you will never have a chicken inside of a chicken egg, because the egg was never fertilized. But yet we still consider them chicken eggs, but that's because the chicken produced them. Also, according to the definition of an egg, and according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, an egg is a hard-shell reproductive body produced by a bird. The definition specifically says an egg is produced by a bird. Therefore, a chicken egg is an egg produced by a chicken. Now, how does this support the claim that the chicken came first? Well, if a chicken egg is an egg produced by a chicken, clearly you have to have the chicken in order to produce the egg. So now that we have clarified exactly what a chicken egg is, and how that supports the claim that the chicken came first, we can dive into the religious aspect of this claim. Next, I will inform you of the ways that religion helps support the claim that the chicken came first. For those of you who are religious, I could simply say God is the creator of everything, and that would be enough for you. But for most of us, we need some evidence. The Bible gives us the evidence we need to see that God created the chickens according to religion. In Genesis 1, verse 20 through 23, it says that on the fifth day of creation, God created by his word every winged fowl after its kind, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. He then blessed them by saying, let fowl multiply in the earth. Now, it doesn't specifically say God created chickens, but according to the dictionary, a chicken is a gallinaceous fowl. Therefore, when it says God created fowl on the fifth day, chickens are included in that. God created the chickens. In this quote, it also says let fowl multiply. It doesn't say let eggs multiply. Eggs cannot multiply. The chickens multiply by producing eggs. Also in Genesis 1, verse 26 through 31, it states that God created creatures in a state of maturity. He created Adam, the first human, as a full-grown man. He didn't create him as a baby, he created him as a man. Similarly, God created chickens full-grown. He didn't create them as chicks or eggs, he created the chicken. So as we see through religion, God clearly created the chicken, which is evident through the Bible verses. Now that we've seen a religious view on this, we're going to look at the scientific view on why it is clear that the chickens came before the eggs. So lastly, I'm going to inform you of the ways that science and evolution support the idea that the chicken came first. According to scientists, evolution is the process in which new species or populations of living things develop from pre-existing forms. Now, what is a living thing? Since living things is what evolves. According to an article, living things must contain certain traits. One of these being the ability to respond to environmental stimuli. Now, eggs cannot respond to environmental stimuli, but chickens can. If you place a chicken outside in a storm, it's going to get out of there as fast as it can and take cover from the rain. Eggs cannot do that. Eggs cannot respond to the environment. According to Ricky Lewis, who has a PhD in science, she states, "My answer to when a baby is considered alive is at 21 weeks, when the fetus is able to survive outside the body of its mother." Now, according to science, something's considered alive when it's able to survive without its mother, according to Ricky Lewis in this article. An egg, therefore, is not considered alive, as it cannot survive without its mother keeping it warm. So therefore, according to Ricky Lewis, and according to environmental stimuli, eggs are not alive. Therefore, chickens evolve. Now, how does this support my claim? According to evolution, the modern-day chicken evolved from a pre-chicken, which was a chicken. It was an animal similar to the modern-day chicken, but slightly different. Evolution occurs through genetic mutations in the zygote. And the zygote is the first cell formed when creating a baby. Genetic mutations occur when transferring DNA from the mother and father to the developing baby. This process does not always go as planned, and things go wrong. And that's when the genetic mutations occur. Evolution occurs when the genetic mutations change over time, and that caused the pre-chicken to form to the modern-day chicken. Scientists say there was a specific point in time when the DNA switched from being mostly pre-chicken to being mostly chicken, modern-day chicken as we know it today. And it was at that point when the first chicken was created. The chicken was created first, not the egg. The chicken came out of a pre-chicken egg, and then that chicken then formed chicken eggs. Because the pre-chicken laid the pre-chicken egg, which formed the chicken, we can conclude that the chicken came first. And one more way that science supports the claim that the chicken came first is through an article entitled "Structural Control of Crystal Nuclei by Eggshell Protein." In this article, a group of British scientists discovered the OV17 protein, which is a protein only found in the ovaries of chickens. This protein is a catalyst for the production of eggs, which means it speeds up the production of an egg and allows chickens to produce eggs every single day. This protein is also an invaluable kickstart, and without it, eggs would not be able to begin forming. So without the chicken and that OV17 protein in their ovary, an egg would not be able to form. Therefore, you need the chicken to produce an egg. So according to science, the chicken clearly came first. As we saw through evolution and through the OV17 protein, it is clear that science supports the claim that the chicken came first. So in conclusion, the chicken clearly came first. It is clear that a chicken egg, is an egg laid by a chicken, as we saw through the definition of an egg and through the testimony of my dad, Ron Wolf. Through the religious approach, it is clear directly from the Bible that God created the chickens, and the chickens came first, not the eggs. And through the scientific approach, we can see through evolution and through the newly found OV17 protein that the chicken came first, and that the chicken evolved and then produced chicken eggs. And that without the chicken and the OV17 protein in their ovaries, we would not be able to have chicken eggs. Alice Cheryl Casewell also found the answer to this question in a more modern approach. She used the U.S. Postal Service and separately mailed a chicken and an egg to her house. And yes, you guessed it, the chicken arrived first.